Hello. In the video I'm about to share, I'll be telling you the chilling truths of the Titanic. Enjoy the journey. Humanity had reached the pinnacle of technology. Steel giants, dreams stretching to the skies, and boundless ambition. The greatest symbol of this era was the unsinkable ship, Titanic. Its name represented not just a ship, but humanity's hubris, hope, and fragility. This is the story of thousands of people's dreams, courage, and loss. Are you ready for the epic saga of the Titanic? In 1909, a legend was born in the shipyards of Belfast, Northern Ireland. The White Star Line Company began constructing the largest ship in history. The Titanic, with its 269-meter length, 28-meter width, and 46,000-ton weight, was an engineering marvel. 15,000 workers toiled for 3 years to create this giant. The ship, with 4 steam funnels, 29 boilers, and engines capable of reaching 42 kilometers per hour, was ahead of its time. But what made the Titanic special wasn't just its size. It was a symbol of luxury and grandeur. Gold-plated dining halls, crystal chandeliers, Turkish baths, a swimming pool, even a squash court. The Titanic was not merely a ship, it was a floating palace. This palace was a beacon of hope not only for the wealthy but also for those seeking a new life. First-class passengers lived like kings, while immigrants in third-class cabins dreamed of a fresh start in America. 2,224 passengers and crew, each with their own stories, came together on this single ship. Some chased wealth, others freedom, and some simply a home. April 10, 1912. The Titanic set sail from Southampton on its first and final journey to New York. Captain Edward Smith, with 30 years of experience, stood at the helm. Everything seemed perfect. Couples danced on the decks, laughter echoed, and champagne glasses clinked. Until that fateful night, April 14, 1912, 11:40 p.m. In the icy waters of the North Atlantic, a nightmare began. Lookout Frederick Fleet shouted through the radio, "Iceberg, dead ahead." The Titanic struck a massive iceberg on its starboard side. The collision tore through 6 of the ship's watertight compartments. Designer Thomas Andrews delivered the grim truth. The Titanic will sink. We have 2 hours at most. As water surged into the ship's core, the final moments of a giant began. Captain Smith issued the order, "Women and children first." But the lifeboats were the tragedy's cruelest reality. For 2,224 people, there were only 20 lifeboats, enough for just 1,178. Some lifeboats were launched half-empty, wealthy passengers were prioritized, and third-class passengers were trapped in maze-like corridors. Chaos turned the ship into a living hell. Yet, in the midst of this inferno, acts of heroism were etched into human history. The orchestra, 8 musicians, played until the very end. The melody of "Nearer, My God," to the echoed through the freezing air, and none of them tried to save themselves. Margaret Brown, nicknamed Unsinkable Molly, a first-class passenger, rowed her lifeboat and rallied the survivors. Engineers sacrificed their lives to keep the ship's electricity running until their final breaths. Each one became a beacon of light in humanity's darkest hour. April 15, 1912, 2:20 a.m. The Titanic split in two and plunged into the depths of the North Atlantic. The air was 2 degrees below zero, the water freezing. Life jackets couldn't protect most from hypothermia. Over 1,500 people perished in those icy waters. Screams faded into the waves as the world's greatest maritime disaster was written into history. Hours later, the RMS Carpathia arrived to rescue the survivors. 705 people lived, but most carried the pain of losing loved ones. Mothers lost their children, children their fathers, and spouses parted in those dark waters. In 1985, a team led by Dr. Robert Ballard discovered the Titanic's wreck 3,800 meters below the surface. The ship still lies there, its rusted hull silent. Broken windows, scattered dishes, a child's shoe. Each tells the story of a life, a dream. The Titanic was more than a ship. It was a symbol of humanity's ambition, courage, and loss. The This tragedy changed the world. Maritime laws were rewritten. More lifeboats, 24-hour radio watches, and international ice patrols became mandatory. But the Titanic's true legacy is the lesson it left us. Nature can swallow even humanity's greatest creations in an instant. Life reminds us how fragile it is. The Titanic story is carved into the heart of humanity. It is a warning, a lament, and an epic. So, what would you have done if you were on that ship?